Hello and welcome along to AVFTS Wrexham. I hope you're well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whenever you're tuning into this match reaction. Happy days as Wrexham are through to the fourth round of the EFL Cup with a nice victory over Reading in a 2-0 home win. Why is this a positive day? Well, Nathan Broadhead braced it up, and we're going to talk about that. Back-to-back wins for the first time this season as well, and a special mention to the clean sheet. Another rare sight. Lots of positives, things we're going to get into, and I'm going to give you my raw thoughts on this match reaction. But before we go any further, make sure you're liking this video. Can we get 50 likes for a midweek win? Can we also subscribe to the channel if you're new and turn on the notification bells? I'm absolutely loving all the interactions in the comments as well. And of course, join the membership if you want exclusive perks on this channel. We're on the road to 10 members, and every person will get a massive shout out on the community post. So let's get into it. Wrexham 2, Reading 0. Well, I want to first of all correct myself because I've been getting into this habit of calling it the B team. I think that's not fair. I think we need to stop calling the Wrexham Cup side, the Wrexham rotation players, B team players. That is not fair. And so I found myself calling that, and I'm going to be correcting myself now. This is what you call squad depth. This is exactly why Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack pumped in £33 million this summer into Wrexham so that we could have squad depth to be able to rotate from the weekend and play a team like this and still be competitive, still progress in the cup, and then have fresh legs for the weekend. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call squad depth. So I want to encourage everyone, erase this B team language, erase this second string language, and start calling it squad depth, because that's what it is. Yes, it was a tale of two halves. A really rusty first half. A first half with not much action, not much punch to it, and certainly a Wrexham side that did look like they'd been spending a lot of time in the wings, lacking game time. Passes weren't connecting, intensity was slow, looked a bit lost, looked like they were all playing as a group of strangers, and not that fluid, fast-paced Wrexham action that we've been accustomed to seeing in the Championship. First half highlights, well, for me, the biggest chance fell to Sam Smith against his former club, Reading. A lovely through ball from James, lifting it over Sam Smith's shoulder. He's a couple of yards out. He just has to get good contact on it. And it actually misses the ball completely, ends up towing it into the keeper's path, and nothing comes of it. That was the biggest chance for Wrexham. Meanwhile, Reading actually asked a few questions of Callum Burton. They actually even hit the woodwork and could have scored in the first half if it wasn't for the post and crossbar. And in my humble and honest opinion, I thought Reading had the better of the halves. I thought Reading looked more likely to score, looked a better threat, and Wrexham really were not even out of second gear. So the second half, everything changes. And that's where I've been impressed. Phil Parkinson didn't need to make any substitutions at halftime. He didn't need to rush it. He trusted in the players he had on the pitch. And that, again, is why we have to acknowledge Phil Parkinson for doing that, not panicking. But also, clearly, we saw the second half against Norwich. We saw the second half today. Phil Parkinson is clearly saying the right things at halftime. Whatever he's saying, whatever he's doing, whatever he's changing, clearly is having an impact on this squad. So when people try and speculate on Phil Parkinson, I'm going to turn around and go, hold on. Did you see the second half against Norwich? Did you see the second half tonight? These players clearly are playing for this man because they came out firing him right in the first minute. There was an opportunity for Elliot Lee that just went wide of the post. And look, the intensity, the way we moved the ball, everything was 1-2 touch. Everything was passing with a purpose, breaking the Reading lines. Reading found themselves retreating. Wrexham found themselves progressing. And all of a sudden, because the play was a lot quicker, there was a lot more belief. There was a lot more fluid attacks. There was a lot more opportunities to be created. And of course, the goal finally came after a few half chances from none other than Nathan Broadhead. I'm going to put this on record. Nathan Broadhead is a massive interest of mine because he came with a big fee. He moved from Ipswich Town, someone who are poised to go up in this division. And of course, he comes with big expectation. And Nathan Broadhead, so far in a Wrexham shirt, hasn't really been able to put his impetus or stamp on it. And in that first half in particular, I must say he was all over the place. His first touch was poor. He was lightweight. He lost possession a lot, had no real attacking impetus. And I thought, come on, Broadie, we need to see more. We need to see why you've had this big feat. Well, we got to see it in the second half. That finished the first goal. Fantastic finish. Quick throw in from Callum Doyle, fast-thinking forward Wrexham, as I said, into Broadhead, who heads it down to Elliot Lee. Elliot Lee drives into the box, shoots, and his shot's deflected. And the deflection falls into the path of Broadhead, who's about 12 yards out, wide of the box, inside it, touch out his feet and curls it into that top corner. A little bit like how Windass scored. Not as emphatic, not as spectacular, but that same side, on the left-hand side of that box, pushing it inward and going for the far right corner. And as you can see on the thumbnail picture, he goes with a knee slide celebration as he opens his Wrexham account. And he doesn't stop there. He goes and gets his brace with another great header. This one was a bit more controversial. The ball comes in from the cross. Broadhead gets it, meets it. A good cross from Barney, meets it with a header. It actually smashes the crossbar, comes down and hits the line. Wrexham aren't sure if it's gone over. Broadhead's convinced it's gone over and starts celebrating. And then Sam Smith tries to bundle the ball over the line with a little bit of a fight with the keeper and defender and make sure it goes in. But according to the officials and according to the commentary, the goal was given to Broadhead because the referee's watch said the ball went over the line from his initial first header. Genuinely, when I watched it on replay again, I still can't see that. But the goal has officially been given to Broadhead, and Wrexham have that 2-goal cushion. But what was impressive then is Phil Parkinson made a few changes, gave Longman, O'Brien, Dobson and Cleworth a bit of a run out. And he didn't need to risk the likes of Kabore or Kiefer Moore, players who are going to be key for the weekend against Derby. But more so, Wrexham had the resilience to see this game out, be defensively astute, allow blocks, tackles, safe handling from Burton to make sure that they did, as I said, what hasn't happened, which is a clean sheet. And that is everything for me. A clean sheet away at Millwall was obviously the one clean sheet that we've had this season, and now another one. So if you look at Wrexham's form overall, and you look at how we've gone into this, that's now 3 wins out of 4 games. An away win at Millwall, a win at Norwich, and a win tonight at home. Bit of momentum building, a bit of competition in the squad, and certainly questions to be asked. And Phil Parkinson, as I said, will look at this and say, job done. Job done tonight. The next question is, has Nathan Broadhead done enough to pose himself in that starting lineup? Remember, he didn't even come on as a sub against Norwich City. Has Lewis Brunt as well? I must shout out Lewis Brunt. I thought he had an excellent game defensively. It looks like there's a toss-up between him and Callum Doyle on that left side of defence. And the other one who played tonight is George Thomason. Coming back from injury, came on against Norwich, started tonight, had a good intensity about him. He's going to be wanting to try and start in that midfield over the likes of Dobson, who, again, is in there with Sheaf and O'Brien. Some options, but some interesting ones. The likes of James McLean and Elliot Lee getting a run out, but again, for me, still seem too far off that starting lineup. And of course, Smith knows that his chances will have to come off the bench because Kiefer Moore will lead that line. Wrexham 2, Reading 0. Would love to know your thoughts on the game if you watched it. If you haven't been able to watch the game, you've relied on my reaction. Hopefully that gives you a sense of what's happened. But my biggest take from this is, let's not call them the B team. Let's talk about our squad depth. Thank you for watching. As I said, like the stream, subscribe, notification, and get in the comments. I'm out of here. Ta-da.